Hi, everybody. It's Jannah with more riv- what, random yet riveting ramblings. Forgot the name of my own show, but so today I want to talk about the tree of life, and it's not the tree of life that people usually refer to, like as what you usually hear. I'm talking about the tree of life that exists in my mind, that lives in my mind. It's not a tree that I planted there. It's a tree that I believe started growing when I was born, and I revisit that tree in my mind whenever I'm meditating. It's the place of tranquility that I go in my mind, and I've watched the tree change depending on the mood that I'm in. I've watched it blossom. I've also buried people at the base of the tree to nourish it, people that have enriched my life in some way, but our relationship has come to an end. And I will have a ceremony in my mind, like when doing a forgiveness meditation or a meditation of appreciation. I'll bury them at the tree and acknowledge the things that we've experienced together, the lessons that I learned as a result of our relationship, and what I remember about that person, what I will now take forward from that person, or if I wasn't uh, enjoying thinking about that person anymore, now that the relationship is over, and I no longer want to dwell on any maybe past pain or issues that we talked about that are still hurtful to think about or things like that, then I'll do a ceremony for them at the tree, and it has worked tremendously. So whenever I am feeling sad or if I can't sleep, I try to turn on a meditation to help me, but sometimes it doesn't always do the trick. And then one day I tried this visualization meditation, and it gave me a picture of a place that I found the most peace, and it allowed me to build the scene up in my head. So in my mind, I made a jungle, and I started wandering through it and made sure that I didn't put any creatures in there that could eat me so that it would disturb me during my meditation. But during this visualization for my meditation, I came across my own tree of life, and it changes depending on my mood. Like I said, sometimes it's more like a palm, or more like a large tree you would see in a rainforest. Sometimes it's more like an elm, sometimes it's a weeping willow, but it's still a tree. And depending on whatever tree I need it to be or where I am in my life, the tree behaves differently. So depending on what season I'm in my life impacts what the tree may look like. Or right now it's in blossom, so I have flowers on my tree. Um, but the most important thing about my tree of life, I initially called it the tree of forgiveness because I used it as a place to do ceremonies to end relationships. And this is just a new practice that I started, but it's so cleansing. Like, it's a place that I can go to anytime I need to. It's at the foot of a river, so I can go there in my mind and listen to the river, or I can watch how my tree has grown. And in reference to the people that I have buried there, it's not many people, and it's not a sad affair or a mean thing. It's my way of closing the relationship, and it always happens after I have said all the words that need to be said. I only put people there to feed my tree of life if the relationship has completely ended. There's no doors left open for maybe how one day that relationship will change. It's for the relationships that have truly served their purpose and have ended because I'm no longer the same person I was when we were in that relationship. I've since transcended it, or taken the pieces that I needed from that part of my life, and it's helped made me who I am. So whenever I'm at that tree, I don't think about pain or what's happening with them underneath the ground as they feed on my tree. I don't think about those things. I think about how beautiful that tree is now, and what the birds are saying that live in that tree, and it's giving me strength because I can make more branches grow from that tree. I can prune that tree if I need to. I can just look at it. I can listen to it. I can make it talk to me if I need to hear what things my life would say to me if I'm lost at a certain time. So, but that's all that I can really. Oh, it's grown each time I meditate, and I have much more of a deeper image of it in my head every time I meditate. But it is the best thing that I thought of or discovered in my mind, because it makes all the difference. Like, it has given me a forgiveness ritual that I do. It's also given me a time to reflect. It gives me a happy place to return to if I'm anxious. It helps me to really develop my skill of visualizing mental image, and it helps me to, what else? It helps me to just experiment, because I will change the scenery around it whenever I need to. But I wanted to share it. I couldn't stop thinking about it because the other day I made a video and the sound was so bad that I just had to scrap it. But I was talking about relationships that have come to an end. In particular, when we're at the end of the school year and I had to say goodbye to my students, and it was so interesting to experience that with first graders, to teach them how to say goodbye, and to teach them that it is an emotional experience, but it is a very beautiful one because it's reflective, and it makes you think about, okay, this is the end of our relationship. Now it's time for us to think about what we will take from each other. So during my end of the year celebration with my students, I gave each of them shout outs. So each student that attended, I told them my favorite things about them, what I got from spending time with them, and what I love most about them. And I gave them an opportunity to do it for each other, and the things that they said were so touching. I almost cried, but I can't cry in front of them because I had one student that's already emotional, and she got emotional when I read a story called Last Day Blues. But they started after seeing how I said my shout outs, they started to think about what they meant to each other, things that they got from each other, and they said thank you. Like one student thanked another student because she was always helping her whenever she needed help, and another student thanked another student because two students, because she remembered when she wasn't having a good day, and both of them came up to her and said something to her. So even though relationships end, as long as you end it with no words left unsaid, with a spirit of forgiveness and a spirit of accepting that people change throughout their life, the way they vibrate changes, and so that the way they vibe with other people will change. Connections that we've had at different moments in our lives may have been really strong because of who we were at that time, but as we move through our life, the connections that we have with other people will change, just like we will change. Just like we start to peel back layers of ourselves and discover ourselves, so too will the layers of our relationships in our lives start to peel back and reveal whether or not we need to keep that person around, or if we remove that person for some time, we realize, oh man, I'm so peaceful now. I don't think about the same things that I used to think about. Then maybe it's okay if that relationship ended. It also makes me think about times when I have ghosted people, that I just stopped talking to them because our relationship changed, and that never made me feel good. So now in my life, I hope that I don't still have any relationships where I haven't told that person everything that I appreciated about them, or told them the truth about what I gained from their relationship, or why I was in that relationship with them. Because I remember I ghosted this one guy, and I started thinking, like, what if he really liked me and I just stopped talking to him? I had somebody ghost me before, and I really liked that person, and they stopped talking to me, and it left something unsettled. Like, it makes it it's something is unfinished there. So it's really important to tell people when you recognize that the end of the relationship is there or that it has come. Tell that person, what you think about them, because if they died, would you feel like, oh man, I should have said this or I should have said that? Then if there's something that you think about by when you ask yourself, if that person were no longer to be here in this world, would I wish I had said this? And if you have something you wish you would have said, then now is the time to say it. Call them now and tell them. I mean, that is a bit of optimistic belief, assuming that it will go well if you tell the person what you're thinking. Sometimes it's not received well. Sometimes a person will think, oh, that's random. But I have gotten messages from people that I don't even think about anymore. Like, the relationship was not that important to me or significant to me. Whatever that person did to me wasn't that significant, but then they send me a message because of where they are in their life, apologizing to me or telling me what our relationship meant to them. And those things matter. So I know that sometimes we get like caught up in how we feel and we don't express it. We just will stop talking and be like, well, that person gets it, they're not hearing from me. But sometimes people, you need to say goodbye to somebody, or sometimes people need to say goodbye to you and you didn't give them that opportunity, and now that relationship has impacted them for the rest of their life, because we all change people's lives when we intertwine ours with theirs. Even if for a moment your life is changed by the people that are in it, by the people you see, the people that pass by, the people you don't know. So it's necessary to tell the people that you do value what they mean to you. And if the relationship is ending, tell that person what you got from them. Because even if the relationship was crazy and the two of you were toxic to one another, if it's not toxic to have one last let me let you know type of conversation, then let that person know that even though we were horrible together, like I had a relationship where we were absolutely horrible together. We brought out the worst in each other because the worst parts of ourselves existed in that other person, and when we were together we just clashed because we didn't work on ourselves and we were just toxic together. So but today I don't have any hard feelings. I can still think about the things that I actually really enjoyed about spending space and time with that person. So now I can send a message and be like, I thought about you. I remember this time that we shared with each other, and then let it be that. I'm glad that we knew each other. So if I never told you, thank you for connecting with me. Even though it was crazy, I got something from it, and we were alive together at the same time and connected for a reason, even if it was toxic. I mean, some toxic relationships you do need to just ghost them and just let it be that, because it's not safe for you to keep that person in your life. But if it's okay, like, for you to wrap it up right, and think about what you gain from that person, and make sure that any words that you share are words of love and appreciation to the universe and to that person for what they gave you. And I think that it sets things in motion for you in your life in ways that you wouldn't imagine, and it heals your mind and your heart so fast. Like, when I had that if you can't do a ritual around that person's belongings, you need to do this ritual where you just picture them in your mind. You have a ceremony that closes the relationship out. And what I mean by do a ritual around their belongings, at one point I was ending a relationship and still had some of the belongings of the person, or could get to that person's belongings. So I went to where that person's belongings were and drew a line of salt around their belongings, and verbalized that I wouldn't be plagued by any negative energy that still lingered from the scars this person left in my life. And as I was drawing the circle around that person's belongings, that's what I did. And that was for the first person that is now buried at the tree. The second person that's at the tree, I didn't do that for, but that the ritual of burying them in a pleasant way at the tree. It wasn't no like crazy serial killer type, I'm burying people at this tree, but it was therapeutic. And once you're in that tree, you're not coming back. So it really did what it was supposed to do. I don't think about situations with those people anymore, and it's necessary for some relationships to do that. Other relationships that Even if I don't speak to that person every day, like I haven't buried them at the tree. If I talk to you, you not at the tree, so don't worry if you're watching this and wondering, did she bury me at that tree in her mind? Nope. If I talk to you, you still alive. You're not fertilizing the tree of my life, but it is a good ritual. I think that I've said that enough, and that's my riveting ramblings. I hope that it was riveting because I really felt the urge to talk about my tree of life in my mind. Next time I may talk about meditating and how that has helped me develop my tree. Well, that's all I got now. So, bye.